Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Reen English Channel. I'm Emma.
And I'm Jack. Today, we're going on a little adventure, not just through conversation, but around the world. Because our topic today is English for travel. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe our channel for more videos.
Yes, one of my favorite topics ever. I think most people dream about traveling, exploring new places, meeting people, trying new food, and English is often the bridge that makes it all possible.
Exactly. Whether you're at the airport, in a hotel, in a restaurant, or even lost in a foreign city, English is usually the language people use to communicate. So today, we're going to walk through all those situations and talk about how to handle them in English, naturally.
That's right. We'll share stories, mistakes we've made, and practical things travelers can say or understand. So grab your headphones and imagine we're packing our bags together.
Okay, let's start at the beginning, before the trip even starts.
Jack, when you plan a trip, what's the first thing you do?
I usually start with the destination. I ask myself, where do I really want to go? Then I check flight prices and look for hotels or Airbnb options.
Right. And that's where a lot of English learning happens without people realizing it. Reading booking websites, understanding reviews, or communicating with hosts.
Absolutely. For example, when booking accommodation, you might need to understand phrases like free cancellation, check in after 3 p.m., or breakfast included.
Yes. And when you message the host, you might write things like, "Hi, I'd like to confirm my reservation," or "Can I check in early?"
Exactly. And if something goes wrong, like the room isn't ready, you might say, "Excuse me, I think there's been a mistake with my booking."
That's such a common one. But here's something I think people forget. Travel English isn't just about memorizing phrases. It's about understanding the intent behind them.
Good point. Like, you're not just saying words, you're solving a situation.
Exactly. So if your flight gets delayed or you need to find your gate, you don't panic, you communicate.
Let's move on. The big one, airports.
Ah, yes, that's where many travelers feel nervous, especially with English announcements and forms.
Definitely. I remember my first time flying alone internationally. I was at Heathrow Airport and I heard final boarding call for flight BA 234 to Rome. I panicked because I didn't even know what boarding call meant at the time.
Oh no, what happened?
I ran across the terminal. Turns out I still had 20 minutes left. I learned that final boarding call doesn't mean the door is closing right that second.
That's such a good example. Those airport phrases can be confusing. Boarding gate, security check, carry-on luggage, departure gate.
Yes, and you hear so many different accents at airports too. It's great listening practice.
Totally. And one of the most common interactions is at the check-in counter. Like you walk up and say, "Hello, I'd like to check in for my flight."
And the airline staff might ask, "Can I see your passport, please?" Or, "Do you have any bags to check?"
Exactly. And you might reply, "Yes, I have one suitcase." Or, "No, just to carry on."
And of course, immigration, they'll ask, "What's the purpose of your visit?"
Yes, that question makes so many people nervous. But the answer is usually simple. I'm here on vacation or I'm here for business.
Right. No need to overthink it. Just answer naturally.
All right, we've checked in, gone through security, and now we're on the plane.
The plane is another great English learning environment. You hear so many announcements. Please fasten your seatbelt. The captain has turned on the seatbelt sign, or will be landing shortly.
Yes, and you interact with the cabin crew. Like if you want water, you can say, "Excuse me, may I have some water, please?"
Or if you have a dietary request, do you have a vegetarian meal?
I think travelers often feel shy to speak up on planes, but flight attendants are trained to help, so it's good practice to use polite English.
Absolutely. And when you're arriving, they often say, "Welcome to New York," or "Local time is 8:15 a.m." That's real-life listening practice.
Exactly. You're learning through experience.
Okay, now we've landed. Let's check into our hotel.
This is one of my favorite parts, hotel English.
Same here, because you learn to sound polite, professional, and confident.
When you arrive, you might say, "Hi, I have a reservation under the name Emma Brown."
And the receptionist might reply, "Welcome, Ms. Brown. May I see your ID and credit card?"
Exactly. And if you want to ask for something like an extra towel, you could call the front desk and say, "Hello, could you please send another towel to my room?"
That's a great one. Or if something doesn't work, like the air conditioning, "Hi, the air conditioning isn't working. Could you please check it?"
Perfect. And at checkout, they'll usually ask, "Did you enjoy your stay?" or "Would you like a copy of your receipt?"
It's amazing how these little conversations teach you tone and politeness.
Now we're out exploring.
Yes, one of the best ways to learn travel English is, well, getting around, taking taxis, buses, or asking for directions.
I love that part. It's so real. Like, imagine you're in a new city and you need to find a museum. You might ask someone, "Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to the National Museum?"
Yes, and they might answer, "Sure, go straight and take the second right."
Exactly. Or if you're in a taxi, you might say, "Can you take me to the central station, please?"
Right. And if you're using ride apps like Uber, you'll hear things like, "Your driver is arriving in 3 minutes," or "Your trip has started."
That's all English input, natural, practical, and useful. And even simple signs while traveling, exit, arrival hall, customs, currency exchange, they teach you real world vocabulary without even studying.
All right, my favorite part, food.
I knew you'd say that.
When you go to restaurants abroad, English becomes the universal menu. You'll often see things like appetizers, main course, or desserts.
Right. And when ordering, you can say, "Could I see the menu, please?" Or "I'd like the grilled chicken."
Right. And don't forget, polite phrases make everything smoother. "Thank you. That was delicious." Or "Could I get the bill, please?"
Exactly. And sometimes you'll need to ask about ingredients. Does this contain nuts or is it spicy?
I always do that. And it's also a great chance to chat with locals, waiters, chefs, or other travelers.
Yes, food brings people together, and English is often the connection. Speaking of connections, one of the best parts of travel is meeting people.
Yes, and this is where your English really grows in real conversations.
Exactly. You can start simple. "Hi, where are you from?" Or "Is this your first time here?"
Yes, And it often leads to deeper chats, sharing travel tips, experiences, or even making friends.
And it's amazing how open people are traveling. You don't have to be perfect, just friendly and curious.
Right. The goal is to communicate, not to impress.
Yes, and every conversation you have abroad is a free English lesson.
Now, not every trip is perfect. Let's talk about problems.
Yes, because when things go wrong, that's when you really need English.
Like missing a flight, losing your luggage, or getting lost.
Exactly. Imagine your suitcase doesn't arrive. You might go to the counter and say, "Excuse me, my luggage hasn't arrived."
Yes, and they'll usually ask, "Can you describe your bag?" Or "Can I see your baggage tag?"
Right. And if you get lost, you can ask anyone, "Excuse me, could you help me find this address?"
And if you don't understand, you can say, "Could you please repeat that more slowly?"
That's such an important one because people usually want to help. You just have to ask.
Exactly. And that's why learning English for travel is about confidence, not perfection.
At the end of the day, travel is about the experience, not just the language.
Yes, but knowing English gives you access to more of that experience. You can read signs, join tours, understand history, and connect with people.
Absolutely. It's like unlocking the world.
And the best part is, your English improves without you even noticing. You're learning through life.
Exactly. And I think that's the miracle of travel. You leave home to explore the world, but you come back having learned so much about yourself.
That's beautiful, Emma.
So, to everyone listening, don't wait until your English is perfect to travel. Use travel to make your English better.
Yes, speak, make mistakes, laugh, and learn. Every trip is a classroom.
Exactly. English isn't just something you study, it's something you live.
Beautifully said. I think that's the perfect note to end on.
Thank you all for joining us today on Reen English Channel. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with your travel-loving friends.
And remember, the world is your classroom. Speak bravely, travel often, and live fully.
See you next time.
Take care, everyone.